What if the surrender that feels like defeat is actually the first honest breath you've taken in years, and the only thing more terrifying than losing control is realizing you never truly had it to begin with? In Sweet Surrender, Bella Matthews delivers a BDSM romance that transforms power exchange into a profound exploration of consent as liberation, proving that in dynamics built on trust, submission isn't erasure, it's the radical act of choosing to be held when the world demands you hold yourself together. This isn't merely another kink-positive love story with leather and lace. It's a tender, psychologically precise narrative where every negotiated boundary feels like both sanctuary and revelation. Vulnerability is the ultimate strength, and intimacy requires unlearning the belief that safety means solitude. From the first hushed command, listeners are immersed in a space where desire and discipline share the same heartbeat, making every moment of yielding feel like both risk and homecoming. Perfect for fans of emotionally intelligent erotica and stories where healing happens through structured trust, this audiobook serves up atmospheric sensuality, relentless emotional honesty, and a protagonist whose journey from guarded autonomy to sovereign surrender resonates with anyone who's ever mistaken control for safety. When corporate attorney Maya Chen agrees to explore her long-suppressed desires with experienced Dom Julian Thorne, she expects transactional release, not to discover his dominance mirrors the compassionate structure she spent decades denying herself. But as Maya navigates scenes and aftercare rituals, she realizes this dynamic isn't about relinquishing power, it's about reclaiming the right to receive care without earning it. Matthews masterfully avoids reducing BDSM to fetish or Maya to passive submissive. Instead, she crafts a relationship rooted in radical transparency, where consent is an ongoing conversation rather than a signed contract, and where intimacy emerges from honoring limits as sacred ground. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional precision, capturing Maya's disciplined composure softening into genuine receptivity, while Julian's authoritative tone reveals depths beneath practiced calm. You don't just hear their connection deepen, you feel the seismic shift of two souls learning that true power lies not in domination, but in the courage to be fully seen. What elevates Sweet Surrender beyond typical BDSM romance is its nuanced portrayal of kink as somatic therapy rather than performance. Maya isn't merely exploring sexuality, she's confronting how professional success taught her to equate worth with productivity, challenging the notion that rest requires justification. Julian doesn't own her through authority, he creates container where her needs can exist without negotiation, honoring her agency even within structured power exchange. Their relationship evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences during aftercare that bypass verbal processing, establishing safe words that protect both physical and emotional integrity, and defending each other's humanity against communities that mistake protocol for possession. Supporting characters add vital texture, fellow practitioners whose wisdom carries both warning and grace, friends whose concern masks discomfort, even the dungeon itself, rendered as liminal space whose padded walls absorb centuries of unspoken longing. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In dynamics built on trust, tenderness is technique, and presence is the only true safe word. Even the BDSM mechanics serve thematic depth, with bondage mirroring emotional containment, and release becoming metaphor for embodied freedom. For audiobook listeners, this production is pure auditory sanctuary with substance. The narrator embodies Maya and Julian with remarkable distinction. Maya's voice carries brittle resilience laced with dawning trust, while Julian's low timbre trembles with suppressed warmth beneath disciplined cadence, making their chemistry palpable even in stillness. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming intimacy. Distant ambient tones marking scene transitions, rain against studio windows during vulnerable confessions, the hushed rustle of fabric syncing with breath during moments of connection, all anchor emotional stakes in sensory reality. Pacing mirrors the rhythm of power exchange, deliberate during negotiation and reflection, then surging with urgency as external pressures collide with internal breakthroughs. Whether you're commuting through urban chaos or unwinding in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable haven where slowness feels sacred and presence feels like gift. It's storytelling as embodied validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a love story that honors both structure and soul. Ultimately, Sweet Surrender redefines BDSM romance by centering female sovereignty within consensual frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for satisfying chemistry and hopeful resolution, while delivering substantive commentary on burnout culture, masculine tenderness, and the radical act of building partnerships based on mutual recognition rather than rescue. No prior series knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional journey. If you've ever wondered whether safety can coexist with surrender, or if true strength requires embracing support, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful choice is letting yourself be held exactly as you are. Press play, breathe into the trust, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by expectation, hearts still find ways to yield without disappearing. Your next favorite romance isn't waiting in perfect control. It's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to be fully known.